where do you think Alien Romulus ranks? Thinking of all the Alien films, and we include Prometheus in that, where does it rank? Is it mid? Is it bottom tier? It's not top tier. We all agree.
Right.
But where does Romulus rank?
Well, of all the Alien films I've seen, it ranks number 2.
Dude, you have to watch Aliens, man. This is insane.
Yeah, Alan, come on.
By the way, Dante, in 1979, what was your favorite movie? Alien, Mad Max, or The Warriors?
Come on, you know the answer to that.
That's easy.
Come out and play, baby. Come out and play.
Dante, magic. Whole lot of magic.
That movie can never be done again. It can never be done again.
And Tony Scott was going to do it.
I know. And honestly, I was a little excited about that. Even though I said I didn't want any remakes, for Tony Scott, I might have bent on that a little bit.
Yeah.
I think I think Romulus is slightly better than 3. So I would put it in 3rd place. I don't like any of these. I pass 1 and 2. I'm not a fan of any of those Alien movies.
I'd put it 4th. I think Fincher, he did a good job, man. I just didn't like the direction he went with Sigourney's arc.
Yeah.
So
I don't know what to say. I mean, having seen Alien 3, I forgot how bad that was. And then it gets goofy with Resurrection. I don't know. It's mid for me, Romulus. I mean, technically, the spaceship porn was on point. The sound design was on point.
Yeah.
The effects, when they were practical, were on point. Mm-hmm. But the Ash thing is unforgivable for me.
And the derivative name, too. Rook? I mean, come on.
Rook,
I tweeted this the other day. How many more chess pieces are they going to name synths after?
Yeah.
Queen.
Well, when I heard the android's name was Andy, I don't know. I didn't like that.
Yeah.
It's kind of,
By the way, that was another, that Flowers for Algernon moment could have been really, or the movie Charlie, if you know that movie. Mm-hmm. The fact that he was upgraded and they could have had I really like that character. I love that actor. But the idea that he had these two different, his programming was overwritten, but now that he has intelligence, maybe he developed a soul, and he was conflicted, and maybe he was the one that found his humanity. You didn't have to have the thing taken out of him to turn him back into a kind soul, but he had learned something and chose to do good, chose to overcome his programming and save Rain. Because he loved her in his own way. They could have done so much more with that.
That is true, but I will say that his performance was so good I can overlook it because
he was great.
He carried the movie.
I agree.
Yeah.
Interesting that the
we wouldn't be having the same conversation if he didn't carry that movie as well as he did.
I mean, Michael Fassbender is one of the best parts of Prometheus. His performance is so good.
But he's also one of the cringiest parts of Covenant because I put Covenant at the bottom because we don't have a scene of all the scenes that are cribbed and put in Alien Romulus. We don't have a scene of two synths trying to get it on with each other for no apparent reason.
Yeah.
I may rank, once I see it, but since it has a lot of ideas from Prometheus injected into it, Romulus will probably be close to Prometheus in that regard. But as far as the first two, because I don't know if I said, but Aliens is number 1. But this is a really hard and a really fascinating nerd debate for just those two films of which is better, Alien or Aliens. So you have to see it, Alan, so you can.
And it's so hard because they're so different. They're very different films. I mean, one is a legit horror film, and the other is action thriller.
I would also. I would also say that both of those movies are handicapped by how people see them now. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I would say that Aliens is a much more effective movie when you're watching it on a screen at home. Whereas Alien, the mood and the feel of it can't be as appreciated until you've seen it in a theater. You really do. Alien is it's much more demand because Alien is a lot less plot driven. And Aliens, because it has that action movie pace and feel and all of those ensemble characters that you really like, and there's all these fun scenes in it, it plays way better at home. Whereas Alien is an overwhelming theatrical experience.
Not
Yeah,
only
I feel
that, both
Alien's like
films
an
are
art house
drilling-
film more.
Both films are drilling in different depths of exploration. That's the other part too. Like they both have their depth to them. I mean, there's obviously the surrogate mother one, longing of loss of a daughter, getting a surrogate, protecting that, all that stuff in Aliens is great. But what I really liked about Alien is the depth of isolation. It's like you have this group of blue collar workers that think they're part of a company. They think they're part of a family, but in reality, they're very much alone. And when they discover what that is, it completely changes the dynamic. And I think that's why I like Alien above Aliens in that regard, because it's more personal.
By the
It's
way,
so hard.
I was just but to everyone in the chat, if think of it this way, if you're a 12-year-old kid and you're in the movie theater by yourself and you see the original Alien trailer come up, that thing was scary as hell. And I'm only talking about the trailer. I mean, this is why I didn't see that movie, because I was too young and it was scary.
We're talking about
man.
now.
I was 13 when that
now.
movie came out, and I could not wait to get to the theaters to see that
Oh,
thing,
my
man.
God.
I was so stoked when it came out, man. I was 13 when that movie came out, and
trailers were great.
I took a whole group of friends, man. We had a blast in the theaters. It was awesome.
Horror
You have
trailers
to.
in the 70s and 80s were so effective. Let's just
Yeah, they
They
actually
were,
that is
yeah.
very true. They were.
I actually did like the trailer for Romulus. Interestingly enough, I
did
thought
too.
that was very effective. But
Yeah, it was a good trailer.
man, you can't argue against how much Aliens had or the first one, Alien, has had such an impact on cinema, and I really feel like it's a lost art now, as far as like tension building and letting the mystery, letting your fear build up, your imagination run wild with what you can't see or understand. So that will always, as far as its impact on cinema, and that's becoming a lost art. It still ranks number one in that regard. But for me personally, as just a pure, film moviegoer standpoint, Aliens is up there. It's pure hard sci-fi. It's epic cast. The dynamic is so iconic. I love the Marines. I think it's so fun. And the Queen itself was such a natural extension of the lore. Just was so cool.
Brilliantly
And the alien
conceived.
horde. Yeah. And then the epic clash at the end is just so between the two mother figures fighting in defense of their children.
That was
Just
so awesome.
absolutely. And I love your rant, Rob, of that line. I completely agree with you. I can't believe they did that. It really is deflating and very disrespectful. I think they were trying to pay homage to it, but it ends up being just appropriated and really just lacks any creativity. So it's very unfortunate. That line belongs to Ripley.
Yep.
Yes,
It
it's like the
does.
master computer program wrote this, and unfortunately, when the biggest rule you never want to make is don't remind people of movies that are better than yours.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean,
No, that's a great point. Yeah.
the other movies, while they may have referenced events that happened in other films, they never copied a line.
Right.
None of them, except this movie. But I feel like that's a modern thing that's done now. Like,
Star
even though,
Wars.
I mean, all these things are ruined by just the world is too corporate. I mean,
Well, yeah, because now everything has to have a wink now, right? Like, hey, remember this?
but I mean, look, the Sundance Film Festival is too corporate. The San Diego Comic-Con is too corporate.
Con is
Something
too corporate.
starts in an organic way by a grassroots organization run by people who are passionate. I know people who work at Comic-Con in San Diego. They care about comics. They are doing their best. They are doing their best, like holes in a dam, plugging holes, trying to hold back the corporatization of that event. But it's impossible. And this is what's happening to everything in the arts these days. Everything is becoming so corporate, so compromised that a pure artistic vision is rare. And when you see it, I mean, that's why I still like when Alan and I see an Indian movie that's just chef's kiss amazing. There's a movie coming out in September, late September. I saw over a year ago. That's so bizarre. It's called Abruptio. It's a live action movie with human puppets that is so weird. It's a sci-fi film, It's just look up Abruptio. We're gonna have the director on in September. It's a fantastic movie.
And let me guess, it's an indie, right?
It's an indie, yeah. Like that's where it is. But my God, we're just
that's the only way you're gonna get originality now is with an indie. You're not gonna get it from the studios.
So I don't know if we'll really be able to rank them all. I think Aliens wins over Alien, but I agree with Rob. If you see Alien in a theater, that tone, you feel like you are in. I mean, I got that with Prometheus, a film that makes me feel it's otherworldly. I'm in another galaxy. I feel even that sort of sense of isolation. Yeah.
So, well, what's amazing though, from just scripting, from a writing perspective, one of the great things about Aliens is when they penetrate Hadley's Hope and they're going through and they finally get to the medical bay, and you walk in and you see, I think they have a shot of this in the trailers, but the way it's laid out, you see the 3 face huggers in containers, and you see Bishop grab the medical, like the clipboards that have all the medical information on them. The characters don't know what those are. And Burke turns to Ripley and says, "Are these the things?" And she's like, "Yes." And the audience is with the movie. James Cameron is smart enough to show all the foreshadowing that you need. We've only seen 1 face hugger, but to see 3, and they're in a medical bay, and we already know if you watch the theatrical version, we don't know what happened to that poor colony. But once we see those 3 face huggers, we know what happened to that colony. And that, even though James Cameron's script writing is populist, he knows how to string you along. He knows how to plot a movie.
Oh yeah.
And that deftness of foreshadowing and playing on what the audience already knows, it's masterfully done. And we don't see enough of that in Romulus, because it just sets up these things, and we already know what set pieces that we're going to get because the trailer told us. Whereas if you look at the trailer for Alien that was emulated for the Aliens trailer, those 2 trailers still to this day are 2 of the best movie trailers ever done. They give nothing away, but they convey how you're going to feel when you sit there and watch those movies.
Rob, do you remember the original teaser trailer? I miss teaser trailers that were just an actual teaser. For example, the Alien trailer where you only see the egg.
You only see, that's actually chocolate brownies underneath the egg. That's the alien landscape. Yeah. And then they used part of that teaser in the final trailer for Alien. It's masterful.
It's in, you just hear audio. That's it. An actual, I actually think I miss those kind of trailers that showed nothing. Trailers,
well, because those were made by people that presuppose they understood that these are feeling trailers. Whereas nowadays in our corporate world, because everybody's following pre-planned playbooks that have been given to them, and that taught in academia, you have to do this, and marketing does this and this and this. They don't think the audience is smart. And the marketing people say that to one another, justifying their own existence. But nowadays, everything is too dumb. It's like, we have to show you exactly what you're going to see. A great trailer makes a promise to you. It doesn't try and convince you. It promises you something, and then the movie delivers. But nowadays, if you never see the movie, the trailer gives you enough. And that's too bad.